I'm afraid. You gonna settle down? Yeah, he's settled down. God, he's an interesting dog. I keep talking about him. Sorry, I love my dog. I keep talking. The reason I'm laughing is because he's now becoming comparable to the way he reacts when I take a phone call. When I take a phone call, this dog goes nuts. He just hates it. He'll bark, he'll run around in circles, he'll try and annoy me. And considering I work from home, that is a big annoyance. But he's such a needy dog. He just needs the attention the whole time. And he's figured it out. When I come up here in the mornings and I get on the laptop, I'm going to be talking to you guys for an hour, and he doesn't like that because I'm not paying attention to his needs. And when they say there's needy dogs, there's no more needy dog than a German Shepherd. I can tell you that now. If you own one, you probably know what I'm talking about. But they pursue you 24/7. You've got no idea. If you've never owned a German Shepherd, these things, when they call a dog a shadow, they are a shadow. They will follow you like your shadow. It's crazy. Can't do a thing without them being there. And you get the biggest guilt trips when you have to leave them at home. My God, the sad faces. I put a camera up once and watch him, and he just sits at the door until I get back. I've had to come to terms with that. I know every time he goes back, he will not move. He's got his spot on a bed. I've got a bedroom right next to the front door, spare bedroom, and I leave that door open. He jumps on that bed and he won't move. He'll sit there for 9 hours if he has to until his owner gets back. That's how loyal they are, but also how needy they are. So it can be both. It's brilliant. I mean, to have a creature like that just love you so completely, but it can also be exhausting. It can shoot me. So anyway, he's calmed down there in the back. Thank God. Usually after a while, when I get started talking, he does calm. So, but it does take a time. We'll see how we go. Anyway, time to have a look at our weather. A lot of condensation on the windows. There's obviously a bit of a frost this morning, but that's the look across the bay. Bit overcast. You can see the condensation there on the windows that we had. Freezing last night. And that's the bay. Very calm, no wind. Little bit of blue skies. Hopefully it clears up. Probably a typical Melbourne day at this time of year. So there's our view of the bay. And here's my dog again. Oh, you got to be a dog lover. I mean, how can you not love this? Look at him. I mean, seriously, got to be a dog lover to watch my podcast. He just comes up every day, puts up with my rubbish, don't you, mate? So, and to think, Islamic people think dogs are just yuck. Don't know why. What the hell is wrong with them? Any culture that looks down upon that animal, those animals, pets, as pets, what do they call them? Well, it's not harem, it's something. There's a name they've got for it. It's not a particularly positive name either. We're up to August 27th. Let's get a bit of Christianity. And Job, 19:13 through 27. Job answers his critics. Here we go. This could be good for me. Job didn't know why he was suffering, and his friends only accused him. He struggles to reconcile his terrible plight with his trust in God. I think a few of us go through this. God has made my brothers forsake me. I am a stranger to those who knew me. My relatives and friends are gone. Those who were guests in my house have forgotten me. My servant girls treat me like a stranger and a foreigner. When I call a servant, he doesn't answer, even when I beg him to help me. My wife can't stand the smell of my breath, and my own brothers won't come near me. Children despise me and laugh when they see me. My closest friends look at me with disgust. Those I love most have turned against me. My skin hangs loose on my bones. I've barely escaped with my life. You are my friends. Take pity on me. The hand of God has struck me down. Why must you persecute me as God does? Haven't you tormented me enough? How I wish that someone would remember my words and record them in a book, or with a chisel carve my words in stone and write them so they would last forever. But I know there is someone in heaven who will come at last to my defense. Even after my skin is eaten by disease, while still in this body, I will see God. I will see him with my own eyes. He will not be a stranger. So in the midst of desperation, he hung on to his faith in God. Very relevant passage to all of us, and whether you're an atheist, whether you're a Christian, Muslim, Jew, whatever, despite what you could lose everything in this life, and if you have faith, you've still got God. You've still got hope. If you don't have hope, you've lost everything. So Christ and faith gives you hope. It gives you something to hang on to. And I've been where that guy's been. I've been there twice, at least twice, probably more. I've had people who I thought were very good friends turn on me over nothing. Rumors, innuendo. When you lead an organization and you've got to be strong and you've got to make decisions and base them on the best information you've got in front of you and the best ethics and morality, someone's got to make a decision. And twice I've been leaders of organizations where I had to make difficult decisions, despite knowing the repercussions that would come my way. And in doing that, you find out who your true friends are, trust me. And you also find out who your enemies are. And I'm not saying those who dislike you. I'm saying true enemies, people who come for you and everything you own, your reputation, your income, the organization you've built from its birth. They'll come for everything. And even after they've attacked you and got you, they'll keep coming. They never stop. I mean, when you deal with those kinds of people, you sort of understand why you need a faith in Christ. And sadly, I've had to deal with them twice. And it is, if you've done it, you would know it's not a nice thing to go through. Not a nice thing at all. You feel the whole world's against you. So I can really relate to that passage. And I had them come at me once as a young man and once in my mid-50s, and they don't stop. There's people, you see it all over the time. There's people in our society, if they get a vendetta against you, they will keep pursuing that vendetta at every opportunity they get. It's why you need to survive, and this would be my advice to any young man out there, don't put your full trust in anybody. That sounds terribly sad, but it's really good advice. Take advantage of their skill sets. If they're coming and they're valuable to whatever you're pursuing in your life, whether it's a teammate on a sports team, whether it's an employee, whether it's a manager, if they can do a job, good, get them in, do their job, but never put your full trust in them. The only people you can trust are your family, and as we find out sometimes, even your family can let you down. So the only one you can really, truly trust, which I think that passage is reflecting in, is Christ himself and yourself. So through yourself, through your own conscience and ethics, through your faith in Christ or something else, just trust. If you want, trust your gut. And twice I didn't trust my gut, and twice it really, really caused me a lot of grief and a lot of pain. Talking of trust, nice segue again. I want to play something, and then I want to comment on it. Overall, it's pretty good, but there is something, and I'll pass this on to him. His intentions are noble. You would have seen Sam Bamford on Two World Podcast. It's not too bad today. It's a little bit slow. I'll come back to that silly woman in a minute. What am I looking for? God, I hate this. Elon, fix up here. So you used to be able to get there in 1 or 2 clicks. Now it takes multiple clicks to get where you want to go. But, we'll get back to that one later. So this is Sam. Let's have a listen to what
by the way. Say. But he came out. So Robert Irwin came out last night on the Logies, which I didn't even know was happening, by the way. But he came out last night and he had a bit of a jokingly swipe at Karl Stefanovic for being a far-right operator. And I mean, the far right is just your common sense folk from 5 to 10 years ago. We think that DEI is full of shit. Net zero is a scam. There are only 2 genders and everything else is a mental illness. No, kids shouldn't be given hormones. Women's sports spaces and their rights are for biological women only. Free speech means you can say things that people don't like. Shipping our coal and gas over to India and China to burn for cheap, reliable power whilst we can't use it here because it's bad for the planet is completely retarded. Mass immigration is demographically replacing Australians in their own country and destroying the social fabric which made up this nation. Multiculturalism has failed. Diversity is our weakness. Merit over race and sex quotas. Soft on policy crime creates more crime. Deportations are pretty fucking cool. The younger generation can't afford a home because our government is $1 trillion in debt, can't get its spending under control, and we have high levels of immigration. Socialists are retarded. The media and government lie every single day. Prosecuting soldiers for war crimes is absolute horseshit. And burning our national flag is a crime, and you should do jail time for that. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the far right. And that's not even an insult anymore. You're just merely highlighting your average common sense Australians from 5 to 10 years ago. Welcome to the far right. That's not an insult. It's actually a positive thing to say. You're just common sense folk from 5 to 10 years ago who loves their country. What's your thoughts?
Okay, since he's invited thoughts, and overall I agree with so much of what he said there. Nearly everything. The one thing I do, like I said in yesterday's episode, I want to get some specifics around, some facts around, is this idea of deportations and the number you're talking about. So some people call for mass deportation, remigration. They're trying to frame it in a wording that's more acceptable. I think that's a problematic issue for the centre-right, which I'm coming to in a minute. So if Sam ever sees this and wants to get in a discussion with me, I've asked this of several people who push this, and none of them can give me an answer. So let's talk what deportations mean. But the rest of it I totally agree with. 100% on board with Sam. Great stuff. He mentioned DEI twice. That's obviously a bugbear for him. But there is one key difference between me and Sam. I'm never going to accept that label of far right. I don't think we should accept it. I think we should push back against it, and we should label the socialist left what they are, the far left, or if we want to, the communists. We're not the far right. We're the common sense middle. Everything Sam just said there is common sense middle, and we should be appalled to be labelled far right when you know what the far right means. We're talking dictatorships. We're talking concentration camps. We're talking oppression, the removal of free speech. We're talking a slave workforce. We're talking planned murder of millions you disagree with. I'm not far right. I never will be far right. I'm common sense centre. And common sense centre is everything that Sam just put out there. We've got to stop. The thing that bothers me about the common sense centre is we just keep getting pushed around, pushed back. We had that argument during this week, and we had the argument on Tuesday night. This whole radical feminist thing to demonize all men. They come up with all the stats, and they basically want to push men out of women's lives. Now, that's not all women. It's the radical feminist group. The ones who can get by without a man in their life, all men, colonialists, femicide murderers. We want the wife at home who just looks after the kids and washes the dishes, all that sort of thing. Just absolute putrid nonsense. If most men are like me, they probably want a strong woman in their lives who's got conservative values. They want a woman there that loves the idea of God, family, country, wants kids, is committed to a relationship throughout their lives, but is a strong woman who can give an opinion, who wants to, can pursue a career. Having kids and pursuing a career are not necessarily adversarial to each other, especially in these days and times where you can work from home. There is no more brilliant time in life for a woman to be able to combine a working career and motherhood if they want to do it. But we've had all that, and we get pushed around. This is the men now I'm talking about. And, men are just simply happy to be labelled and not push back. We saw it with Sydney and Richmond. The clubs just had to put out Sydney looks like it has jumped the gun massively on their ones, because if there's no charges laid, then what was all this hoo-ha about? You've got to resolve their breaking of club or team rules in-house, and they'd still be playing. They would have served maybe a one-match suspension, a big fine, and now they'll all be back on the playing field. But now you've destroyed lives, you've destroyed careers, you've probably destroyed your season, and all because you weren't prepared to push back a little. Didn't need a lot, just need a little. At Sydney, all you had to say, well, there's been no charges laid. We don't know the details. When we do know the details, we'll share as much as we possibly can. But this is an in-house thing, and we'll discipline our players for breaking any club rules. Anything beyond that is with the police. That's all you had to say. But no, let's blow it all up. Let's start lecturing men about how they treat women. And let's label all men as the problem. Some footballers have done that. Bizarre. Why not push back a bit? I mean, you can push back while recognising that any sexual abuse or violence against women is abhorrent and we should fight against it. But in this case, we can't figure out whether there was any sexual abuse or violence against women. The only thing of violence is she was happy to be slapped on the butt 3 times because she got paid, but it wasn't about being slapped on the butt. It was about not being paid. That's not a violence issue. That's a transactional issue. Let the police deal with it. Not all men will do that. A lot of men will happily pay for that forced slap. But you're dealing in the sex industry, and these things go on. And if you're going to deal in such a sleazy industry, whether you're a man or a woman, expect some sort of nonsense from time to time. That's the reality of it. And if you're running a football club that has 45 men on your list, virile men in the peak of their lives, from time to time you're going to have these issues. There's no avoiding it. That's humanity. So don't put yourself up on a pedestal as you're some sort of bloody role model to everybody else. You're not. All right? You're a group of individuals who are very good at a sport, and people like watching that sport. It gets their competitive juices up. And I'm not going to a footballer for a moral guide on how to live my life. Not a chance in hell. I'm not going to a tennis player, a cricketer, a golfer. I love my sport. I love watching it. I love coaching it. But I also realize we're all flawed human beings. I do my best to mentor my young athletes to be the best human beings they possibly can. I'm not expecting them to be role models for anyone except their direct family and maybe close friends. And then you have the Richmond Football Club, where their young guys did absolutely nothing wrong, but they're embarrassed by it. Because why did they put out that statement saying they're embarrassed by their behaviour? Because they didn't want to push back. Because if they push back, they'd then get the outcry and everyone piling on and all that. Too cowardly to take the pushback. To take the pile on from any pushback. And that's what we do politically. What Sam's saying there is 100% right. What Sam's saying there that's wrong is to accept the label of far right. We're not far right. We should never accept that label. We should realise how disgusting that label is and why we should be appalled to even be called it. And we should push back against it. It shouldn't become normal for people with common sense, middle of the road ideology to be labelled far right. That's exactly what the left want. So why give them what they want? Push back and then push back harder by labelling them far left. Because that's what they are. They're as far left nearly as you can get. So it's a ridiculous thing to accept us as far right. We're not far right. We're the common sense centre, and we're where most people should be. And I think, listen, in most of those things that Sam said, most common sense people would agree with it. A lot of immigrants would agree that multiculturalism has failed, for example. But because we get tainted with far right, that then puts the fear of God into them, and they don't consider conservative standards because conservatives have been labelled far right for too long. So being a conservative means you embrace your traditions, your heritage, your culture, your past, your flag. None of that's far right. So most of that's patriotism. So I got to have that coffee. Short and sweet today. That was my little rant. Sam just, and I'm not angry at Sam at all. In fact, I agree wholeheartedly with most things he said there. I'd like some clarity around deportation. The only thing I disagree with him is let's not accept far right. We are the common sense bloody centre, and we should be proud of that. And we shouldn't be giving that up to satisfy the needs of the radical left who just want to pile on and say Nazi, bigot, far right. We shouldn't cop it. Just should not cop it. We should push back hard against it and go hard at them. They're radical Marxists. So, I mean, they came out and they as good as said it in these protests against Pauline. The evidence is there. They're saying it. So, no, we're the common sense middle. They're the ones on the far left. That's what we should be taking. And we should be making no apologies for it. We should be pushing back hard. We shouldn't be accepting that label. We shouldn't be accepting the Nazi slurs. We shouldn't be accepting the bigot slurs. And we should be saying, if you want a common sense country that you can be proud of, where we can all get on, and as best as possible, because you can never unite a country 100%, but as best as possible, unite this country, then let's work hard to make sure we stay in the common sense middle and then go from there. Another little rant I've got, our politicians. There's been a few of them come out. Jared Rennick was one. He was with the David Pocock. I'll show you this clip in a minute. There was an announcement last night that if you're not looking into AI and robotics, you need to. What is coming down the tube for the future is incredible. Incredible. And I'm choosing to look at the glass half full. Where humanity's going to be, we're not going to recognize where humanity's going to be in 5 to 10 years. It's going to be so different to what we think now. We thought, like, if you're my age, you struggle to comprehend the change in the way people are living from the year 2000 to now. That took 25 years. The next 5 years, I think, is going to make that look ridiculous. We're about to go through some of the biggest change in human endeavor that we've ever seen, ever. Most people are unaware of it. I'm looking forward to it because as I get older, I think it could solve a few problems for me and for everyone else. And Elon Musk is someone I do trust. Why? Because he invested his own money for free speech with X. Because he actually took on a friend and stood up against him, which is what a true friend does, and that's his friend in Donald Trump. When they had their falling out, that was because Elon Musk saw something wrong and said, no, this isn't right, and Trump drew a line in the sand, and Musk said, no, Donald, you're wrong. And he removed himself from the cabinet. Now, it's one stage his ego nearly took over, and he was going to be going into politics and doing this. I'm glad he hasn't, and he's gone back into his companies and his industry and everything like that, because what he's doing in many aspects is going to make politics, ideology, all these simple human things that we're talking about irrelevant. That man and others like him are going to change this world mostly for the better. There's going to be, I believe, there's going to be some aspects that we should be concerned about. We discussed this on the Tuesday night podcast. We had a 4-hour discussion. Most of that was about AI and robotics. If you haven't had to listen, you should, and you'll get different opinions to it. I'm looking at the glass half full. Ben and Rami are sort of looking at the glass half empty. Especially Ben. Rami's sort of in the middle. I'm on the glass half full side. So it makes for an interesting conversation. But if they can do what I think they can do, some of the arguments we're having now are just going to be looking so petty. It's just, in 5 years' time, we're going to be looking back now. Why were we arguing about those things for? Humanity is about to take one of the biggest strides, and it has the capacity to take all of us with it. My fear, and it's a fear that I put out, is that the leadership, the political leadership in the country doesn't comprehend this. And they're going to be caught up in some of the minnow discussions. They're just what are going to become irrelevant discussions, because doesn't matter. This advance in humanity is coming, whether we want it or not. There's no stopping it now. And in my opinion, I think that's for a good thing. Everyone looks at the evil part of it, and there is a capacity for that, as there is anything in the advance of humanity. But there's so much good that's going to be coming out of this. We'll see where it takes us. Whether it's good or bad, you and I can't do much about it. We can look at it and wonder, and try and comprehend what's coming. You're not going to be able to comprehend everything. I'm struggling with it at the moment. I think even our younger ones, who are probably a bit more open to this, will struggle with it at the moment. But it will be exciting, and I'll show you why in a minute. But we've got Jared Rennick and David Pocock and all other sort of politicians jumping on the AI centre debate. Now, Australia needs those AI centres. We need more than those AI centres. We need an industry in robotics. We need to get and try our best to catch up or take advantage of the work that's happening in China and America, because it's incredible stuff. And if we don't do it, we'll be a backwater. We have everything on this continent to be leading what will be the next human revolution in technology. The last one was the Industrial Revolution. This is the AI robotics revolution. We're living through it now, and we don't understand it. Our politicians most don't understand it. Jared Rennick's having a bit of a bitch about, and fair enough, a bit of a bitch about, these data centers wanting water and farmers not calculating. He's talking about foreign ownership and all this sort of shit. Jared, get off it. We don't have the investors here to build this industry. We need a bit of foreign investment. Gina Reinhart was right to say we should be inviting, and I'll show you why in a minute, Elon Musk to Australia and giving him an island or whatever he needs to bring SpaceX to Australia. She was 100% right. It would massively advance our ability, but everyone here poo-pooed it because it was Gina Reinhart and Elon Musk. And all the politicians here hate Elon Musk. Well, you're not going to stop what's coming. They've got this ban on social media. I'll give you a look at this clip too in a minute. Elon Musk is doing something revolutionary in regards to communication in the way it's going. Right now, we rely on AI because of towers. Very soon, you won't need those towers. It'll all be done by satellite. And Elon Musk has got those satellites because he's got the monopoly on the space travel. He's so far of everybody else. He's going to be sending 30 rockets up a day from 2027. A day. We haven't sent 30 rockets up in 30 years. He's going to be doing it in a day. Imagine the monopoly he's going to have on space travel, satellites, technology then. Good luck trying to ban social media then, because all you need is a phone, probably by then a robot, and hook it up to a satellite, and you can get whatever the hell you want. So our politicians are just so far behind. They just don't get it. They don't understand it. And they need to get the people into their ministries, their bureaucracies that do understand it and can facilitate this industry, this revolution coming into our country. So rather than me talk about it, let's give you a look at it, what's coming. It's science fiction stuff, but it's on our doorstep. And if you're like me and you've been raised with this science fiction stuff, you might be frightened of it, but you should also be excited by it. So let's.
All right, so Rob.
Craig Hutchin. I hope I've saved this in the right spots. Here, first up is Elon Musk on Starlink. These are his satellites. Listen to this. And then trying to comprehend that we're trying to ban him on social media. You got no chance.
It will allow SpaceX to deliver high bandwidth connectivity directly from the satellites to the phones. But there are hardware changes that need to happen in the phone. So since these frequencies are not supported in current phones, the chipset has to be modified to add these frequencies. And that probably is a 2-year time frame. So the phones that are able to use the spectrum that was acquired probably start shipping in around 2 years. And and then we also need to build the satellites that are going to communicate on those frequencies. So in parallel, we're building the satellites and working with the handset makers to add these frequencies to the phones. And then the satellites and the phones will then handshake very well to achieve high bandwidth connectivity. But the net effect is that you should be able to watch videos anywhere on your phone.
Wow. And it's going to be crazy.
So that means in the middle of a desert, you're going to get, Wi-Fi connection through a satellite, and you'll be able to watch any video you like. That means countries that are trying to put bans on under 16s or whatever, even if they try to go thing, you won't be able to do it because you can't ban a satellite. I mean, the politicians are so far behind, it's ridiculous. And they pat themselves on the back and they spend billions of our dollars on ridiculous initiatives that just have got no chance of succeeding. Because this man and people like him is so far ahead of them.
And do these frequencies, would they work indoors inside buildings, like
Yes.
your phone currently does? Okay.
And so will you be able to have basically
if you're in a building with a like a thick metal roof, then no. But
no, the same types of
normal homes, yes.
Elon, is your vision for this that instead of having an AT&T account and then roaming when you're in the UK or you're in India, it's just we could have one direct deal with Starlink. It works all over the world eventually, not today, but at some point. Is that the end goal? That basically we don't need a regional carrier. We have a global carrier, and that would be you.
That would be one of the options. To be clear, we're not going to put the other carriers out of business. They're still going to be around because they own a lot of spectrum. So there's, but yes, you should be able to have a Starlink like you have an AT&T or T-Mobile or Verizon or whatever. You should you could have a account with Starlink that works with your Starlink antenna at home for your Wi-Fi as well as on your phone. And it would be a comprehensive solution for high bandwidth at home and for high bandwidth direct to cell.
Could you buy some carriers to have more spectrum? Maybe you could buy.
Really interesting stuff. All these towers, for example, we see, they'll all disappear. You won't need them. You'll have, like you said, like a television antenna on your roof, and that can go with you anywhere. And as long as you've got that, you're going to have satellite access on your phone, wherever you go. Eventually, that antenna will go into a robot that basically follows you wherever you want to go as well. It's incredible, the future that's coming. Show you, and I think you need to embrace it. Look at, talking this. This is a Tesla robot. Have a look at this. This is what you'll have in your home. And just before it goes, this will be like your vacuum cleaner. Nothing to fear. This thing will relieve you of so much work so you can concentrate on far more important things. So I won't take you through the whole lot of that, but just imagine for a moment, you put this on autopilot and you go to bed, it cleans up your whole house, your kitchen, you come down in the morning, everything's spotless, everything's clean. You ask him, can you please get me a coffee or a cappuccino? And bang, away it goes. I mean, and you're sitting there catching up on all the news of the day. It just takes all the, well, this is a great account to follow, DNDGEN _. It's like it says, robots aren't coming. They are already clocked in. That's so true. I hope I've bookmarked it. Let me go back into my bookmarks. If I haven't bookmarked, I've got to go in my replies. Here's another interesting one.
Every single day I step into the office, it feels like I'm in a sci-fi movie. When you walk in the office, you have bots walking around autonomously. You come in the lab, you have bots doing laundry.
Working at Optimus has shown me how much progress is possible when we're all working towards a common goal.
A lot of the engineers here are exceptionally ready to get lost in the engineering.
It's super exciting to come into work with all these capable people to develop a product that's gonna change the world.
I think Optimus is pretty uniquely positioned in the fact that we care equally about design and manufacturing.
We're solving manufacturing problems that haven't been solved before at the scale that Tesla operates at.
I feel like I'm surrounded by people who are extremely passionate about what they do, and they're really willing to do whatever it takes in order to get the job done.
I feel like I'm empowered to take a design from start to end. Here at Tesla, if the solution you're looking for does not exist, you do have to build it.
So here at this facility, you can expect to be involved in working on gear manufacturing equipment, turning equipment, as well as getting your hands dirty assembling gearboxes that you've designed.
I have a focus on distribution harnesses. They're difficult to automate and scale. A lot of the work here is trying to figure out new technologies that replace harnesses. You would be doing more component level development.
I work on the design and manufacturing of Optimus's hands.
And I work on all the external structures that you see on the bot right here.
I work on the PCBAs on the robots. We are designing high power inverters in a very small form factor.
As we iterate on our robot design and go into Gen 3 and into mass production, we are getting very close to the human functionality and form factor.
A robot, it'll look like a human in a superhero suit.
I think the end goal is going to be something revolutionary. It feels like the extreme sports of engineering.
Incredible. Imagine being one of those young people that are working on this. What a buzz. What an absolute buzz. And they go into work every day, you know, waking up and going into that. And you compare them to the young ones who are walking around our streets carrying machetes and doing all sorts of nonsense. Is where I'm going to say it's going to advance humanity. Everyone's going to when this comes out, everyone's going to want a piece of this. Problem is we got politicians who are just not capable of doing it. This one's a bit longer. I'll give you a look at it at the start, but we won't watch all of it.
AI and robots will really dominate everything.
The next generation Tesla bot Optimus could break every boundary we've ever seen from a humanoid robot, even if its price ends up being higher than the $30,000 Elon Musk has claimed. That's because
30,000, that's US. That'd be about 40 to 50,000 Australian. So the price of a new car, and you get a robot doing this. Be me. Be me having my breakfast. I can't wait. I've got to get my business up so I can afford one of these things. It can be doing the dishes while I'm eating my breakfast.
At its core, this could be the first humanoid robot in the world capable of talking, cooking, cleaning the house, or simply working for as little as $1 per hour. If you compare it with some Chinese humanoid robots, Optimus may appear slower and less agile. But don't get me wrong, what we've seen so far is only Optimus Gen 2.5. Optimus 3, which is expected to be unveiled in August, could be the version that truly makes it.
That's now. So this is going to be presented and go. The idea is it's going to be presented and then it will be constructed in an industrial scale and put on market. So you're going to be able to purchase one of these things. Might sit in your garage, might sit in your living room, but you put it to work in whatever way you think. Could be doing the weeds, could be doing the garden, could be doing your books, could be doing housework. Whatever you tell it, it'll do it for $1 an hour.
Everyone ask one question. Does Optimus actually have a human inside? This version won't just come with a long list of hardware improvements. So
this is shared core technology, audio system, cameras, chips, training cluster, neutral manufacturing. It's
what Tesla puts
unreal.
Inside the robot could be the real evidence that the company is becoming a leader in artificial intelligence, not simply an automaker experimenting with humanoid robots. So, how far could Tesla Optimus actually go? What makes it such a highly anticipated robot, and where does its development stand right now? Elon Musk has already dropped plenty of hints. Optimus has already gone through 4 major design upgrades and is currently at version 2.5. But Elon Musk says Optimus 3 will be the company's first true commercial version, with the ultimate goal of bringing its price down to roughly the cost of a car. This will be the first version to feature Grok Voice, the AI 5 chip, the 4680 battery, and a whole range of other advanced technologies. Musk says releasing...
Like if you go back into... There's an important one there.
This will be the first version to feature Grok Voice, the AI 5 chip, the 4680 battery, and a whole range of other...
Real-world AI. Real-world AI means it will be doing a lot of your work for you. You could talk to this one and ask for example, to come up with an app for you, for your business. Or it could write an article for you. Say, listen, I need a quick article on so-and-so to present a thing. It'll do that for you. Just look at this thing as like, I call it a vacuum cleaner, but it's also going to be your entertainment unit. It's going to be a laptop. It's going to be everything. It's going to be your phone, data communication. You might be asking this thing, hey, listen, can you please call Travis? I need to talk to him about this thing. So we dial up Travis, and you have a conversation with Travis through your robot. It's going to be incredible. I'm actually excited about it. I think it's going to be one of the most incredible leaps in humanity we've ever seen. And I just wish I was younger so I could take as much advantage of this as I could. You younger ones, oh my God. Some people get blackpilled by this. Ben, I think, leans that way a little bit. But I'm excited. And I'm a boomer. I'm excited by it. Now, if I haven't got it, it might have to be in I'll go in replies. I'll come back to that lady in a minute. It's in my replies, obviously. Damn it. I'm going to say her. I want to hear what she's got to say because she's an idiot. Now, let's go home. And I need replies. Oh, please. Just bear with me, everyone. I really got to prepare earlier. It's not in replies. Damn, where would I have it? Probably just in my post. Let's see down here. Sorry, guys. I'm so hopeless. Well, if I don't bookmark it. That's Jared. We'll come to them. Here we go. Have a look at this. That's 325. Let's look at the shorter version. This, Elon Musk, I'll give you the background of it. SpaceX, so Elon Musk, has announced 2 mega projects, which is representing at least $116.8 billion in combined investment, all within less than 3 weeks. Terrafab in Texas, the world's largest chip manufacturing facility. So the other day, Rami was saying how far ahead with China is. I'm not buying that. I'm buying that there's going to be some very intelligent minds in America and possibly Western countries that will overtake China in that. And then this is probably the most exciting. Starbase, Louisiana, the world's largest spaceport. Together, they are expected to create more than 14,000 direct and indirect jobs. One will produce AI chips for use on Earth and in space. The other will support thousands, just take that again, thousands of Starship launches annually. This is what building the future looks like. Just have a look at this. That is incredible. 30 launches a day. That's in Florida. We could have had that here in Australia if we had any sort of entrepreneurial leadership, people with vision that understands where humanity is going. But no, I'll give you an example of what we do have in a minute. Let's have a bit of a listen to what Elon Musk has got to say. So this is in Louisiana. It's not exactly an advanced state, but it has all the natural resources that you would want to put this sort of spaceport there. And this is, where is it? Oh, damn. Post. Oh, that's that post. And this is Elon Musk landing on the place that they're going to renovate. They've just building it. He says 3 years. If Elon Musk says 3 years, believe him.
What do you think?
Great. Yeah, it seems perfect.
This road basically, so this all serviced offshore oil and gas, right? Since like the 1950s, and it's a
offshore oil and gas, something we have so much of here in Australia.
This used to be what they call Freshwater City, and so that's where the old dock space was, and so that's kind of the bones of what you're seeing.
This place will truly change the world. At what point does civilization get to know a life in the stars?
Yeah.
You can't do that launching.
You need serious tonnage. See the serious tonnage, or
scale.
If you want to go out there and make life multiplanetary and not just be a tourist, send a few people and come back in.
Elon Musk talks a different language. He's talking about multiplanetary. Think what that means. That spaceport you just saw, if you listen to him carefully, I've been listening to a lot of his stuff lately. We are all going to have a universal wage where we have a life of abundance. So because of the robotic things, we'll all get paid anyway, and we'll get paid more than what we're getting now. So I can, flying over to Florida, for example, go to their spaceport and I could get a trip to Saturn. That's what he's talking about in the next 10 years and back. I could be a tourist, not going to Rome or France or anything like that, but going to Saturn. That's incredible.
But if you want to go there and actually build a self-growing civilization, you need serious tonnage. We're going to bring, I think, probably north of 10,000 really exciting jobs to Louisiana. And
everyone, this is the problem you've got with everyone is just right now banging on about foreign investment and foreign lobbying and all that. There is some bad foreign lobbying investment. There's also great foreign lobbying and investment. If you could have negotiated with Elon Musk instead of fighting him over social media and say, listen, we've got all this land, we've got all this, we're an island surrounded by ocean, we've got great deep water ports, we've got them all over the country, we've got all the resources you need. You could have got Elon Musk out here in a heartbeat. But no, this man is now sitting in Louisiana building something that we could have easily had here and had 10,000 jobs created. No, but 10,000 Louisianans are going to enjoy this work and be part of building the next surge in human endeavor.
It's kind of jobs that are so exciting you can't wait to go to work in the morning. Right. It's super inspiring, and we believe in having a really fun work environment, and it's hard to beat rockets, frankly.
I didn't know you were.
This is why I'm glad he got out of politics. This is where Elon Musk is at his best.
Drawing so many people from Louisiana.
Absolutely.
We talk about Louisiana as like this mechanic shop, right? And the interesting part about the whole project is that the project is actually built on the foundation that built Louisiana, which is the energy industry, right? So you're just laying a great project on type of something that Louisiana is ready for.
When people think of SpaceX, they think of a lot of engineers and scientists and things like that, but actually the most common job at SpaceX is technician or welder.
Tube bender. How many Australians can do that job?
Or tube bender. These are actually the people who add the most value from going from raw material in the door to finished rockets out the other door. They're passionate about their craft. They're excited to come to work every day, and they know that they're doing something that makes a difference, both in the lives of people that are here today and for many generations to come.
70% of our workforce at Starbase Texas is local to the Rio Grande Valley, and we're really proud of that fact, and it's something that we will replicate at even a larger scale here in Pecan Island.
70%.
Well, I think it's been incredibly exciting for the people of Louisiana. We'll make it such that the public can come and see, like they do at Cape Canaveral. People go see Disney World, but then they'll go over to Cape Canaveral to watch the rockets launch.
Imagine if we had that in Australia, where you could just walk and visit in and go around and check it out like a tourist. I can't wait. When they open this thing, I'll be doing everything I can to get a flight over and check it out. We're looking at the future. It's unbelievable.
All of our launch sites are actually nestled next to wildlife refuges, whether it's Vandenberg or Cape Canaveral or Boca Chica, and so we're good at managing both of them. In order for us to build our infrastructure, to bring the launch pad, to bring the rockets here, we're going to have to literally shore up the shoreline. It's going to be a historic coastal restoration in partnership with Pecan Island and the state and Vermilion Parish to bring the marsh back, to make sure we have proper storm protection.
That's actually some of the first work that you will see happening on site is gaining access to the property so that we can get equipment in to start restoring the wetland and making sure that we stop the erosion on the shoreline.
It's going to be a fantastic partnership with Louisiana. Thank you.
Wonderful.
Yeah, and thank you for your support again.
Oh, no, not a problem.
Yeah.
We haven't picked a name
Well,
yet.
but I think Starbase is cool.
Yeah, I love it.
Starbase, Louisiana.
All right, you heard it here first.
Yeah, we can't wait to serve y'all the first pot of gumbo.
Sounds good.
That is incredible. And remember that island, that is going to produce, I'm just going to play this again because I'm blown away by it. That's going to produce this. Blown away. We could have had that here. And these would all be robotic cars, they're all moving themselves. There's your port where everyone would load on or getting on the rocket. It's amazing. It's amazing. And it's going to be here in our lifetime. Between the advancements that are going on. Now, the reason I put all that, it is amazing. But then you get this guy. Now, we can't even get a grim. David Pocock. You compare the vision that Elon Musk has just talked about there. Then we got this idiot, and he is an idiot, in our parliament that is the leadership of this country at the moment. Listen to this guy, compare and contrast.
One of the big things that I haven't heard any leaders talking about is what is the long-term benefit? Where is the data center tax or the return?
Show him that clip, please, someone. Where's the long-term benefit? 10,000 jobs. They're protecting the environment. They're protecting the seafront in Louisiana. As I said, in all their other projects, they've worked cap in hand with their local governments to ensure the protection of the environment. What benefit do we get? Are you serious? You become the centerpiece. If we had what they got in Louisiana, the centerpiece in the AI robotics revolution, one of the greatest leaps in technology and humanity, and this bald-headed nitwit doesn't understand the benefits of that?
To the Australian people, because we've seen this play out before. We have big industries investing a huge amount of money, and then over the long term, these multinationals are very good at profit shifting, at not paying tax here in Australia. And then the other thing...
Well, you got to fix the laws, idiots.
I'll just throw in is the impact that this is having on the construction workforce. I've heard from a bunch of property developers that they are seeing a shortage because people are going and building data centers.
Yeah.
These data centers don't take up that much space. That's just a nonsense argument. There's a lot of... Australia has a huge amount of space. We could put data centers around this country and it shouldn't impact on our building of housing. That's just a cop-out bullshit argument. This guy's a moron. And he's the person leading us into this thing. America, they've just banned gender ideology from schools. Why aren't we doing that here? Just chuck that in there. And talking of another one, here's Pocock again. He's talking about access to lobbying in Parliament. Now, there's certain lobbying you don't. Do you want to get rid of it entirely? Do we want a mob like SpaceX lobbying our politicians about bringing that industry we just saw in? Sometimes the road to hell is paved with good intentions. So here's moron again. Let's listen.
David Pocock has taken a hard line against one of the gambling industry's most potent weapons, sports betting advertising. So the involvement of...
So he's a nanny dad. You know, he just wants to get into our lives. He wants to stop people. I don't bet. Good luck to people who do. But who cares? Sports, he just picks a subject to make himself relevant. Sports gambling advertising sports, well, that's how they pay for what we want to see on TV. I mean, I see the sports bet advertising thing. Ground your kids properly. Teach them how to do it. Keep the government out of our lives.
Responsible Wagering Australia in the Parliament Sports Club, as well as others like alcohol and fossil fuel companies, meant to him that a line had been crossed.
Because of the way the Parliamentary Sports
But this guy's one of the biggest supporters and proponents of renewable energy. Who has benefited the most from lobbying in our parliament since Kevin Rudd came to power? So since 2007, under mostly Labor or Labor-like governments, who has been the biggest beneficiary of lobbying? The renewable companies that get this bastard pushes all the time. The same renewable industry that can't provide the energy that Elon Musk would need for his spaceport in Louisiana, or the robotics, or the AI. We can't provide it because of idiots like this. That future I've just shown you, we can't get in Australia because we keep voting morons like this into our parliament.
operating, they had advice that they had to list themselves as a lobbying organisation on the lobbyist register. The Prime Minister is essentially like the patron of the sports club. And so you had the Prime Minister who's essentially the patron of a lobbying firm, for all intents and purposes, if you go by the lobbying register. And when I raised concerns about this, I was kicked out of the club. Got an angry phone call saying, mate, you're causing trouble, you're out. I think the Parliamentary Sports Club debacle highlights just how...
I would kick him out too. What a boring bloody thing. They're out there to play a game of rugby, have a bit of fun, and he's bringing politics into it again. Good on him. There you go. There's the first decision I can give our politicians credit for. Kick him bloody out. I would kick him out of my club. Why would you want this nanny bastard in your place anyway?
Normalised it is. That for many in there, it's just the status quo. People that are part of industries pay for access, they lobby hard, they get privileged access. And that's just how things work in this place.
Of course they do. They're protecting their interests. Okay, people are going to lobby all the time. We lobby as citizens. We get the biggest lobby because we get to vote. That's been going on since Cain and Abel. It's a silly argument. I'm sorry. And most of this is pushed by anti-Semitism because everyone wants the Jewish lobbyists out of there. But there's a lot more lobbyists than just the Jews. The Muslim lobbyists are 10 times worse than the Jewish ones. Now, should there be ideological lobbyists? If he was making that argument, I'd then be nearly right with him. But when you've got companies saying, listen, we've got this technology, we can produce this amount of industry, we can build this amount of jobs, but we need this from you, I don't have a big issue with that. If it makes us wealthier, if it creates jobs, if it's going to create more taxpayers, actually, I'm all for that. So he's just a Marxist leftist. He's just a wanker, seriously. Don't take anything that he says credit. Talking of wankers, trying to find an issue, trying to find relevance. All right, where's the next one? Here we go, this one. Jared Rennie. So there's a new, again, data centers. This is their latest hobby horse. There's a data center proposed for Dalby that is going to rely on rainwater harvesting to source its water supply. As someone who has watched farmers have to give up their irrigation licenses to save the environment, how is it that a foreign-owned company is going to be allowed to harvest water, but farmers can't? Well, farmers could, Jared, if it wasn't for our politicians. So aim your arrow where it's rightly should be targeted. And don't put them into the same bunch as the environment crew. This is a classic example of one rule for wealthy foreigners and another one for hardworking Australians. So Elon Musk is a wealthy foreigner. If he brought his Spaceport Australia idea here and said he was going to create 10,000 jobs and 70 to 80% of them would be for Australians, Jared, would you be against it? I'm just giving you a glaring example of what a wealthy foreigner could bring to Australian shores. Would Jared be against that because he's simply a foreigner? He plays off this a lot. Be careful you don't go down this road because we're going to make ourselves bankrupt, irrelevant, and a backwater if we're not very careful. You just have to be careful of which foreigners. So do your vetting. Do your vetting. But, yeah, we should have Elon Musk here in a heartbeat. There had better be a lot more transparency around exactly how much water this data center is going to harvest and what impact it will have on downstream communities like my hometown. My hometown of Chinchilla. So this is about a bias, a conflict of interest. So he, rather than advance Australia's interest, he's looking after his own political interest to make sure he gets voted back into the Senate. So when they talk about lobbying and conflict of interest, he's making a lobbying effort through the residents of Chinchilla. That's fine. Maybe he should be selling the idea of the benefits of something like this in his backyard. But no, he wants to make this a hobby horse so he can get voted back into Parliament. He wants in on that gravy train. On top of that, Blackout Bowen, good name, is insisting data centers are power. Well, there's an argument I can support him with. How about you make the argument, we want this data center, but even rather than coal, can this foreign company power their AI center with a small modular reactor, nuclear energy? Could he make that argument to his residents of Chinchilla? Better than a coal mine. Of course, this is preposterous, as Kogan Creek Power Station is just down the road from the proposed site. Kogan Creek site on 400 million tonnes of coal has a vacant pad for another turbine. Would anyone destroy valuable farmland with renewables? It just matters. On that part, I furiously agree with Jared. But he's using, if he makes that argument, I can go with him. But he's demonising AI centres and the advancing technology. I mean, it's a ridiculous attack what you should attack, promote what you should promote. We should be promoting this advancing technology for the reasons I've shown you. The obsession with renewables needs to end. 100% agree. Why don't you make the whole post about that? People first will abolish all subsidies for renewables and require environmental bonds to be paid on existing sites. So, okay, he wants to protect the environment and farmland and he's opposed against renewables. Why bring AI and robotics into this? Why not be promoting that? It's a confusing argument, but this is the sort of leadership we have in our country. We're going to be a backwater because of idiots like these two. I don't get it. They should be promoting the advancement of all this, and they're not. This is why Australia is in a bit of trouble. And we got ridiculous, just inconsequential arguments being made about nothing, while look at what Elon Musk is doing in Louisiana. That's a stark contrast of a proactive company, investor, governor, and leading the way. And here we are in a backwater, and we can't even lift the moratorium on nuclear energy. Elon Musk in 3 years is going to be sending 30 rockets into space filled with civilians. He's going to be putting a robot in every home to do all sorts of chores. We're going to have robotic industry in China and America. What is Australia going to be bitching about? Water and all that. So, yeah, they're important things, but don't let that stop us. First, raise the moratorium on nuclear energy. That's what the big debate should be about, but no one wants to touch it in Canberra. So if we get left behind and we aren't in the forefront of this revolution, it's because we keep putting idiots like these into our parliament or considering them. We need far better people to represent us. So that's no shock, obviously, to hear. So that's my little rant for today. We've got to finish off with something. We've got to go to where am I? Oh, my God, Alon, I love everything. I've given you a big plug here, but I hate finding my bookmark folders like this. What's Claire had to say? Talking of idiots, let's see what Claire's got to say before we get to our fun video.
Those opposite say that workers are lazy, they should be paid less, they should be easier to sack. Those opposite keep saying people should be able to take more out of their super. Well, if someone aged 30 takes 20 grand out of their super, they're $93,000 worse off in retirement. That's their plan. And don't forget, when they were last in government, they're now deputy leader of the Liberal Party. She said people should take money out of their super to escape domestic violence. That was their proposal when they were last in government. We back higher super, they're for cutting it. Those opposite say that...
When she says that we back higher super, she's actually arguing that the government, and this is where the government, because they do it through employers, should take more of your money that you've earned and put it in a super fund that's managed by their trade union movement predominantly. You're putting your money where other people would manage it. Get self-managed super funds, number one, if you're going to do it. But again, listen to Elon Musk. and it's around the corner, if a universal income comes in, which inevitably it will if we go down this robotics revolution, which is here and is coming, Elon Musk has already said it, saving for your retirement is just going to become irrelevant. Because every single human being on this planet is going to be given a generous universal income. Because our economies are going to boom. They're going to go through the roof. Because employers, companies are going to have robots who don't cost a wage every year, who don't need days off, who don't need maternity leave, who won't go out and strike. And so the profit margins are going to increase. The production is going to increase. Our productivity is going to increase. And human beings can sit back and enjoy the benefits of all that productivity. So, life is changing. When she says she wants to take more super, she just doesn't understand what's around the corner. Just another example of a politician who can't see where we're going to be in the next 3 to 5 years and where we should be taking it. Anyway, that's aside. Who knew? We got idiots in Parliament. Got to finish off. Where am I? I'm sharing for a minute. I love my boy, love my German Shepherds. If you don't have a German Shepherd, you should have one. And here is the reason. I don't know why I did that. I could have done that in a much different way. Here is the reason why. I hope I've got the right one. No. Sorry, wrong one. German Shepherd. Love them. Amazing dogs.
Is that a dog on my pillow?
Are you serious?
So funny. My dog looks at me like that all the time.
Not allowed on the bed, you... No!
And they give you that look too.
What? No!
That's my boy. They love a scratch.
Bye-bye. You are not going back outside.
That's my dog.
Oh, you're so cute, pup. Let me see you smile. Oh, such a cute smile.
That's so smart. My dog doesn't do that. Oh, these are so cute.
What you doing?
Look at them. Two.
What you doing?
Oh, that's so beautiful. Look at the three.
Spin this way.
That's smart. They're crazy.
Down. Roll over.
That's my dog. Hates that. He doesn't do this, thank God. That's so funny. German Shepherds. Oh. So that's it from us today. Oh, why is it doing that? Hold on. There we got it. That's it from us today. We've had another rant. I really encourage you, if you're worried about AI and robotics, get on the internet. Go to that account I shared in here. The leap we're about to undertake in humanity, it's going to, those idiots in Parliament, unless they're absolute morons, and I'll give Albo some credit. He's talking about AI in the centres, and there is a lot of talk about it across all the parties, not just one. So I think they are aware of it. I just don't know whether they're the right people to be leading this. You need probably someone outside Parliament to lead it, like Elon Musk is doing in the States. And you've got entrepreneurs and companies in China that are leading this with the support, but not the vision of the Chinese Communist Party. It's actually the people that own the companies that lead those companies with similar vision to Elon Musk. There's definitely a race going on between the two. This is like the old space race, but this is probably even more exciting than space race. And Elon Musk is leading that space race by so far. I don't know whether anyone will catch up anytime soon. But look at the positives. Have a look what's going to be coming into your life. Like that old gent that was having his breakfast while the robot was cleaning up. I can't wait for that day. Sorry, I'm not very good with cleaning up my kitchens and doing all those chores. I hate them. So if I've got a robot I can employ to do that, and if I've got a robot who can do complex AI functions while I'm sitting back and watching my NBA basketball or doing something like that, brilliant. Or I can leave a robot to do my books while I take the dog for a walk. Oops. I just said the magic word. See, did you see his eyes and ears prick up then? Oh, my God. I'm looking forward to it. So I said the wrong word. Oh, my God. I am in so much trouble now. You don't realize. Anyway, so look at the positives of it. Research it. Don't be so fearful of it. We could have that robotic industry inside our homes in the next 5 to 10 years. If you're like me and you're going into retirement and we're going to get that universal income, brilliant. All those have been saving up for super through my entirety life. It's good you're going to have a big savings pot there, but you probably didn't need to do it. You could have spent your money on a lot better things in the last 40 years. Think about that for a moment. But whatever it is, we're all going to be living a much better life in the next 10 years. And we should all be grateful for that. And, you know, that is a God-given gift that He's given us people with this sort of innovation, this sort of genius, if you want, that we can go there where humanity is going. And let's hope it's a force for good. The Industrial Revolution was a force for good. Let's hope this AI robotics things is also a force for good, and it takes humanity where it's never been before. So I'd rather look at that glass half full. I'll keep pushing that glass half full, but I'll keep pushing our politicians, who are a bunch of idiots. They've got to get on board this. They've got to lift them. First thing they've got to do is lift the moratorium on nuclear energy, so companies like Elon Musk and the gas restrictions and all that can come here and build these industries here. We've got everything. Why are we exporting? Sorry, I'm on to a rant again. Why exporting everything you need for this industry, this new revolution? Why are we exporting it all to China so they can do it? Why aren't we building it here? That's where it is. I should have left with the puppy thing. But anyway, have a great day. God bless you. God bless your kids. God bless this. What am I saying? I got it wrong. God bless your kids. God bless your grandkids. God bless your pet. God bless that flag. God bless this country. And I'll see you tomorrow, Friday, end of another week. Have a great